2, 1. What's up YouTube, it's your boy Kakeshi Crypto. In this video we'll be talking about merchant token. I'll be giving you guys some additional updates and things to look out for in the upcoming weeks, so in the next 2 weeks or so, as well as looking at the next Coinlist sale, whether I'm going to participate and if I recommend entering the token sale. So without further ado, let's dive into the video.
Hey yo, I'm focused. Cash me out in London speaking Polish. Having money on my mind and having money in my pocket. Bone marrow roasted, spread it on the rosemary bread, lightly toasted. Drizzle with the vinaigrette, stuffed Dutchess and it's pulling like a cigarette.
So to start off with, we're looking at this website. Now I'm not going to say that this website is the be all and end all in terms of rating crypto projects. However, they have listed quite a diverse number of cryptocurrencies, and they do give it a score, so that is a good sign. And it's not only this website that gives the coin a score. There's an average score which I believe is derived from a number of different sources. So as you can see here, ICO Bench haven't given this project a score, but ICO Holder have given it a score of 4.1 out of 5, which is roughly 85% or so out of 100. And then ICO Marks have given it a score of 9 out of 10, which is like 90%. And on this website itself, it's 8.1 out of 10. So overall, it's got a good rating. They do list some of the details of the project. So it's from Sweden. They list some of the owners as well. They list the tokenomics and how many tokens are for sale. So we can see here 55 million tokens are for sale. I didn't have this information prior to today, and based at the current prices, 55 million times $3.30, let's just say 50 million times 3, that's around 150 million in terms of the market, maybe a bit higher, but in general that's roughly what the market cap is. So there is definitely a lot of room for the coin to grow there. So that's just filling in a blank that I didn't have last time I made this video. But what I thought was good is that, you know, they've listed everything in terms of the roadmap, and also the social media links, and also the team as well. So if you go on to LinkedIn, then you can see the team and their history. So this dude here, John Cavebring, it shows you his university that he went to and the current company that he's working at, and he has over 500 connections, which is always a good sign. So generally with projects, you want to be able to have access to the team's Telegram or even LinkedIn, and that just reduces the chances of you getting rug pulled. Having said that though, I do believe that most cryptocurrency pre-sales are pump and dumps. So, you know, take your money as soon as it goes to the market, unless it's like a very, very quality project, which is sort of hard to tell at the time, but you sort of know, like, you know, things like Affinity, things that I talked about in high regard. Anyway, I'm rambling. What I wanted to talk about is how you can track what's going on with the current pre-sale and the distribution of tokens. So basically, I believe the distribution of this token is last in, first out, and it seems to be playing out that way. You can see here the total supply of tokens. This is EtherScan, by the way, if you guys aren't familiar with it. It's a good resource to use in order to analyze the Ethereum network or any token, ERC20 token that you're using. Each blockchain has their own block explorer. This is quite basic knowledge, but just in case you don't know, essentially what we want to see is this number going up. So since I started checking this a couple of days ago, it's gone from around 70 token holders to around 122, and I'm not sure of the time frame difference between the UK and Sweden, but there has been a bit of a break in the last 3 hours. So I'm going to assume every day that this number of holders here is going to increase up until the 12th or whenever, or hopefully they're on track. So yeah, up until the 12th, and then you can look in your MetaMask wallet and then you can get access to these tokens. So if you want to get access to this webpage, what you would need to do is from your computer, and I'm sure it's the same from the MetaMask mobile app, from your computer, if you go to MetaMask here, and then you click on this right arrow to the side here, And then if you press these three buttons here, you can go on view on Etherscan, and it literally takes you to this page, if not a similar page. Let me just quickly look at that now. So yeah, this is the contract address page for merchant token, and to go in further depth to look at the actual contract itself, then you click on that link there with the token address, and then if you look at token transactions, you can get an overview of what's going on. And then if you go back to the tracker here, so view merchant token, that basically takes you to how many holders there are. So it's a bit of a lengthy process, but it's fairly simple, and it's exactly the same from your phone as well. So I thought that was interesting, and I thought maybe it would give you guys some some relief in terms of tracking the progress, because I know it's a bit daunting not having your tokens when they said they were going to give them out. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Next part of the video, we'll be talking about Qredo. Excuse me if I'm butchering that. Personally, I'm not really a fan of this project, despite it being a token sale. I do have a bit of PTSD from previous Coinlist token sales, and I'm not too keen to sort of go back anytime soon, especially with a project with poor tokenomics such as this one. If we look and take a further deep dive into the project, let's have a look, and we can talk about it in a bit more.
A new global market is emerging, one powered by community, accessible to all, promising innovation in how we capture, share, and trade value. But despite the advances in decentralized finance, crypto infrastructure lags behind, giving rise to a fragmented marketplace. Imagine a world where any asset can be transferred to anyone instantly, where any layer 1 asset can be swapped without wrapping or pegging, and where assets can move freely from self-custody wallets to exchanges and DeFi protocols without sacrificing security. Qredo has revolutionized asset ownership for the digital age, pioneering the first decentralized custody network secured with trustless MPC technology. The network is the vault. Mainnet is live. Join the Qredo network.
Essentially here, if we look at the tokenomics, so there is a bit of a lockup period for either option 2 months for option 1, 6 months for option 2. That's not the big issue. There's a decent amount of personal allocation that you can invest into these projects. That's not the issue here. The issue here is the tokenomics. So if you look at the supply of the tokenomics, who gets what, the team, the reserve, the advisors, the allocation to the public, allocation to the private, it's not distributed in a way that would give the most returns to investors. So if you look at this tokenomics, and then we'll look at MTO as well, and we'll look at the key differences here. So you can see here, the seed investors, they have a large stake of the supply. So yes, they may bring a lot of liquidity, but it should be evenly distributed, I believe, and that would then benefit the project in the long run, as opposed to it being given to seed investors and whatnot. But going from top to bottom, the private cell, they do have a lot of allocation. The public cell has the smallest allocation out of pretty much everyone in this group, other than the reserve, and I don't think that is right, especially with how Coinlist tend to do their token sales. So I will probably look at other token sale websites in the future. I've mentioned some of them like PokerStarter, DAO Maker, etc. But yeah, that's just for the future. The advisors get 3 and 3.7%. I'm not sure what ordinary is, but you can see here, basically, public sale investors get the smallest allocation, basically the smallest allocation, as opposed to at least 5-10% out of whole token supply. And even the reserve, there's not that many coins in reserve, so it's just going to be either mass inflation or seed investors. In fact, this just benefits the seed investors. Let me just leave it at that. and I don't really like this tokenomics model, and I'm not going to be investing. I'm going to wait for a different project. Despite the cheap prices, I'm just not a fan. Another project that had launched with basically crap tokenomics is called Covalent, and let me just show you the price for itself. So I'm not really accustomed to a token sale going below its ICO price, but what they tend to do is that, you know, these seed investors, they get in at such a low price. Whenever it gets listed, whatever the price is, they've already made 10x, 50x, 30x, whatever the number is. They've already secured their ROI upon listing, and that is where, you know, you need to find the right balance. You need to make sure that everybody eats. You don't want to just be giving to VCs and, you know, all these other people that don't really have your best interest. So as we know, current market cap is around 115 million or so, with there being around 55 million tokens that are available, and the current price is $3.20. So yeah, that's quick maths, as Akodapa says. And I know I've talked about this previously, but we'll go back to it again. You can see here there is a big difference in the distribution of the tokens. So even though the seed and private round, in fact, the allocation isn't even that large, and the vesting period is a lot healthier than what it is in the Qredo project. The seed investors do have quite a bit of equity in this token, but you can see here that they only get 10%, and that's vested over 2 years. So that's very healthy for the project, very, very healthy. And same thing with the private investors. They even have a smaller allocation, although I'm sure their price that they paid for the token was a lot cheaper. But the point remains, they get their tokens released over 6 months. So not as long a period as I'd like, but it's still enough time for an average retail investor to make a good return on their investment. And you see the team and advisors, yes, they do have a bit more than the token that we're comparing to, the Qredo token. Same with the strategic partnerships, they do have a bit more, but there is a vesting period. And the most important part, 64% of the tokens go to the public, okay? 64% as opposed to 4%, guys. So I know, yes, there may be a lot of people tempted to sell the tokens, but I don't believe all of the retail will sell the tokens all at once. I believe a lot of people, maybe not all of them, at least 10-20% would hold for the long term, thereby adding to the scarcity of this token. And on top of that, they have, well, I'm not sure if they've actually carried this out, but there is supposedly meant to be a token burn for the tokens that were unsold. I don't fully know the current situation of that. Hopefully there is an update there, but the point remains, guys. You want to be looking for projects that are community minded. Is that a word? Community minded? Community focused, I say, because that is generally where you get the best returns. Like projects like Solana, like other notable projects, they have good tokenomics, with a lot of the supply being focused on the community and not being focused on early VCs. Like this, I don't want to rant too much, but just be careful about what you invest your funds into, because the Coinlist, I don't think they're your friends. They're like an enemy of progress. All the good gains they passed after Solana and Flow protocol, and ever since then they've just been listing shit, really. Excuse my language, but that is just a matter of fact. They've just been listing crap. The only coin I would I have some sort of respect for is this coin here, Affinity, but I did not get into that. So it is what it is. Anyway, that's the video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've given you some value. If you do like this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll try to keep you guys updated with new content. I'm a bit lazy though, so do bear that in mind. But yeah, see you guys soon. Bye bye.